everyone, welcome to Scrapbook.com. My name is Alexandra from the Hedgehog Hollow, and today I wanted to create a quick project with you from the new LDRS release. Now I've already done a little bit of prep work, but the first thing we want to do is create our background. So I have some of my Ranger blending tools here, and I'm going to pop a foam on each one. I also have one of the newer selections of LDRS hybrid ink. Now you absolutely can blend with hybrid ink. You have to be a little bit quicker than you might be with a dye ink or something along those lines, but absolutely can work for you. So what I'm going to do is take my stencil. This is the LDRS Plaid stencil that was released last month. I have some distress stamping paper here as well, and I'm going to peel off a little bit of masking tape. And when I'm working with hybrid inks, I do try to always work when I'm blending with them with that distress stamping paper. Because it has a little bit of a coating on it, you will find that you get a much better blend with hybrids in particular. I always blend on my Nina and whatnot when I'm working with other inks, but because hybrid has some of those sort of pigment properties and things, you'll find that this will work better for you. And what you'll have noticed is that I stuck my stencil to my card. And the reason I did that is because now, no matter where I put my stencil, my card stays in the same place, and that plaid is going to stay in exactly the same place. So let's get this one out. This is the Jewelry Beads collection of inks. And so you've got some gorgeous kind of full muted colours in here, which I just love. And I'm going to grab, take those lids off, and then I put my tool in front so that I try to at least keep some order. Like so. And we have a tool for each one. Now I'm going to start with the yellow, and you can go in stripes, you could do ombre shading. I'm just going to kind of probably do it in some kind of stripe border. So I'm going to go for yellow, and then I'm going to go into orange. And you can see how smoothly these are going on. And that distress coated cardstock is really going to help you along the way with that. Then I'm going to go into my green. And I don't have any kind of harsh lines or anything like that. I'm also working on my Holtz glass mats. That gives me somewhere to go afterwards. You can use an easy clean mat. But you will find your ink blending is much, much, much easier with these glass mats and some of the mats that come with them as well. You have kind of less friction underneath and things, and so I find it much, much easier to do my blending since I've had this mat. So now I'm going in with that grape apple at the top, making sure I have that in, and then I go back to whichever the lightest colour is and I blend in the middle. I'm going to go with that orange, blend through the middle, and I'll go with that yellow and blend through the middle. So you can see how easy that background was to create. And I'm just going to get my inks out of the way. And I'm also going to give my work surface just a quick wipe because I don't want any of this colour on my card base. So now everything is cleaned up, I can peel off my stencil. Isn't that such a pretty background? And look how simple that was too. And then I can just peel my masking tape off the back. And I just also love this little tip of taping your card to the back of your stencil, because of course your stencil's never going to move, and how often do we want to rotate it or move it and things so that we can get to different areas much, much easier, and that way just works so well. Now we want to also create our focal point, and for that I'm using the LDRS Creative Creations Hot Chocolate Stamp Set. I've taken this girl on a piece of Canson watercolour paper, and I've stamped her using my Distress ink in Aged Mahogany. Now I have an Aqua painter here. This is a water pen that has a brush on the end. And I'm going to soften all of these lines. And what it does is create super simple watercolour. So what I want to create here is something that looks like a watercolour painting. So this, by stamping it in the Distress, I can then reactivate it with some water. And I can add as little or as much as I want, depending what shading I want in there. And I kind of work in sections. So like here on her face, I'm just going to work in her features first, and then I'm going to just kind of soften it onto her face, take a lot more water, and a pretty dry pen, So the more water you add, the more you can absorb. And I'm going to take a little bit of kitchen roll and I'm going to pick up some of that around her face because I want that to be lighter. I'm just going to fill in her eyes, go back to that nose. So anything you want to pop out, you can absolutely do that. You could also pick up some extra colour on your paintbrush, which I'll show you in a second how I would do that. But you see how this is coming together, and you're going to have that gorgeous monotone kind of sepia look. And look how simple it is. There's no colouring skills, there's nothing needed, just some water and an ink. And you could use with any colour of distress ink. So for instance, in my snowflakes, if I wanted to add some more colour, I can go in with my brush straight from here, maybe around here, or in this snowflake. If I wanted to add some colour underneath so it fades out, I can also do the opposite and I can squeeze out some water and I can really kind of watercolour out. So it gives her a pretty base into that. So there's just so many different things you can do. I did get my finger in there, so I can fix that. I'm going to take my water and I'm going to create a really super light wash. And the more water I add to this distress ink, the lighter it's going to get. I can also add a Nuvo drop on there, a sequin, a little drop of glitter. But what it's creating, and because I have a darker area down there, you can see the difference between kind of her background and where you're kind of fading it out. So it looks like a miniature portrait. And this bit down here is a little bit darker, which is what I want. And if I want to get rid of even more here, I can just keep adding water until that's gone. But you're not going to notice it now that we've added all those extra things. So I just love how that's a super simple technique to create those pieces. So again, let's clear up our water. I already have my card base cut, so I just need to cut down my background. And so you can see that those distress inks do, hybrid inks even, do have some reaction to water. That's because they are a hybrid between pigment and dye. And so I'm going to trim some of this off until I get to the size piece that I'm looking for. I want a piece that's 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. So that's my background. I'm going to take a piece of Lawn Fawn black cardstock. I'm cutting that to 4 by 5 1/4. And then I already have my card base cut here as well. So let's start matting all these layers together. And we are going to be making a card in under 10 minutes, start to finish. Don't you just love those cards that are quick and simple, but super effective? Now there are a few sentiments in this set, but I would like this. Maybe I'm going to use it as just to say hi. I could use it for Thanksgiving with that colour scheme. I could use it as a Christmas card. So I'm going to leave that sentiment blank. Quite often do that, and I add sentiments when I send them because I don't always know what occasion I want to use this card for. And this one is one of those that is open to so many different ones. So I'm going to pop this onto this oval, and these are the Scrapbook.com oval dies as well. All your links, as always, will be in that video description for you too. And I'm just going to grab my big roll of foam. I like to snip a piece off. And it happens to work perfectly that little smudge gets covered up. Now, of course, as I mentioned, you could add some Nuvo drops, you could add some sequins, but doesn't she look gorgeous? And then you can imagine when I put down here, or I might even put it up here, depending what sentiment I go with. But I love this fade in the background too. Look how pretty all of those shades are. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to the Scrapbook.com channel and also hit that bell so that you get notifications of future Scrapbook.com videos. Do give us a thumbs up as well. As I mentioned, all those links are in the description below. Plus I did do a reveal of the whole LDRS September release, so do check that out on Scrapbook.com's channel as well. And we'll see you again very soon. We hope to see you over at Hedgehog Hollow as well. Happy stamping. Bye.